This your weekly surf drop.
Petterson Thomaz here in the area. Welcome to Busy Surfing Vlogs. Every Monday at 8 p.m. we're here today to talk to you who are beginner surfers or want to start surfing. Tip number 1. Don't use your cousin's or uncle's board that's kept at your house to learn to surf. You know that uncle who surfed when he was a teenager? Normally, smaller boards with thinner thicknesses are much more difficult to surf. Ideally, you should use a long board, a soft board, really big, wide, and thick boards, which give you more stability to stay upright on the wave. Tip number 2. Train your physical fitness, do exercises, and move when you think about taking a surf lesson or trying to surf. Why? Surfing is a sport that demands a bit from your physique, so being more prepared and less sedentary will make you progress faster and get on your feet much more quickly. Exercises such as push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, cardiovascular exercises, and swimming help a lot. This will make you progress much faster and have this first experience in a safer way and stand up much faster too. Tip number 3. If it's your first time surfing, it's essential that you look for an instructor, a surf teacher, because surfing is a really dangerous sport for anyone who wants to get into sea conditions they don't know. An instructor will help you by showing you where the current is, where the ideal place is, and where the right place is. I always recommend that people who want to start surfing take at least the first 3 lessons with a surf instructor. In addition to being able to stand up and evolve much faster, you'll also understand a little about the rules of the surfing universe, the tricks, and about boards, equipment, and all the details. I think it's an essential tip. Many people want to venture out to sea alone for the first time, and the sea is no joke. It doesn't take kindly to insults. So, a surf instructor or teacher is tip number 3 and essential for you to progress and get on your feet much faster. If you don't know any teachers or surf schools in your region, send them here in the comments and I'll look for them. I have several friends of mine who were competitors who ended up becoming surf instructors who have surf schools, and I can also help you with that, alright? Tip number 4. Before trying to surf, every surf instructor or surf teacher trains on the sand, and if you're going to try surfing, regardless of whether you went with the teacher or not, always try to train on the sand before going into the sea. You're going to draw a board. Everyone has their own teaching style, but I always tell people that there are 3 correct steps to get you on your feet faster. The first step, when you paddle and get up to speed on the board, your hands go to the sides of your chest. This is the first step. Generated speed, hands at the chest, preparing for the climb. Second step, you will adjust your back foot and pull the foot that you will use as support to get up on the board. I'm goofy. In this case, I use my right foot, raise it to the middle of the hip so that when I push off to get on the board, the back foot comes, passes through the middle of the board, standing up. Then in the third step 2, full body, hips turn to the side, head forward, squat to keep the core balanced here and the arms forward. There are 3 essential tips. First, pick up the speed, hands at the sides of the chest. Then, the second step, pick up the speed, prepared to climb. 1 step before the climb and the explosion. Bring the support foot to climb, right? Then push the board, adjust your foot, bring your back foot to the middle of the board, and that's why this movement is very interesting to do on the sand before trying to stand up in the sea. Tip number 5. Next, you who are going to start surfing now, you have to choose the wave where you're going to surf. There are several waves all along the Brazilian coast, but here in our southern region, there are some very specific waves that I recommend. For those who want to start surfing, of course, it's important for you to have an idea of the size of the waves and also the weather. Not surfing with lightning, not surfing with storms, but waves like Matinhos, Pico de Matinhos. The right of Matinhos, when it's small, is a very good wave. Here in Sao Chico, we have Tartaruga Beach. It's actually the place where we took these classes with people, some women from Auto Premier Jeep in Itajaí. We have Praia do Meio da Atalaia. This is a very chubby wave, very easy to surf, especially in small conditions, right? There are also people from the Nalu Surf Club there who give surfing lessons. And Floripa has Barra da Lagoa. In short, there are several other waves for you to start surfing. Always look for fuller waves, fatter waves, right, that are slower, and also for waves that generate foam and a space between the outside, right, between the outside part of the sea where the surfers sit until the sand, a large space, made of foam, so you can have some time there to walk around, pick up speed, and really stand up the way you want. Tip number 6. Learn to observe the sea, the weather, right, and also read the forecasts, right? There are several forecast sites: Surf Guru, Waves, Wind Guru. It is important that you want to start surfing. Surf in conditions where the waves are smaller, there is little wind, in that region, on that beach. So try to understand a little about this. It's a little difficult, right, for you to learn on the first try. But over time, with experience, you will see that the wind on your north beach, it comes from that side. The swell, when it is from the east, it comes on that side. For example, for us here, the east swell is very good, right? And for beginner surfers at Praia da Tartaruga, practically there are almost all winds from the south quadrant. It's a protected beach, so it's smooth and ready for beginners to surf in the best way possible. So, I highly recommend that you always check the weather forecast and the wave forecast before you start surfing, or if you're just starting out surfing during your first attempts. This is very important. If you find this subject, wave forecasting, reading applications, if you find it an interesting subject, do the following. Comment here on this video so I can understand what is relevant to you and what is not, so we can do more content here on the channel too. Tip 7. Surfing is a sport that you will learn over time, only with experience and practice, right? In fact, the more you practice, the more you will understand the sea current, the waves, your fill, your equipment, and you will be able to get more of a feeling, right? It's a sport that we can't do just with the theory here telling you in this video. You're going to have to take it and go into the water and try to experience it. And the more experience you have, the better you will be, right? Don't give up, because surfing is a sport that many people, sometimes because they don't stand on their first attempt, they give up. But I'm sure you, whether you are a man or a woman, regardless of your weight, your height, that you can do it. You have the ability to stand. It's just a matter of using the right equipment and listening to the tips and putting them into practice too. All these tips we are talking about here in the video. Tip 8 is, for me, one of the most important tips in this video. First, I'll do the following. If you like this content, you're enjoying it, leave your finger on like here, so we can make more content in this vein also for you, beginner surfer. Come on, tip 8. Here's the thing, surfing is a team sport. Many surfers surf at different levels on different beaches. So it is very important that when you arrive at a beach, especially a beach you don't know, that you observe the locals, that you respect the locals, and above all, also respect the rules. Each beach has a type of wave. There are beaches that are beat breaks, those sandy bottoms where the beach is open. There are beaches with cliffs, point breaks, waves that only break on one side and all that. There are an infinite number of rules that you have to know. For example, a point break. If you caught a wave now, you won't go back to the peak and catch the best wave in the sequence. There is a queue, an order of priority. And surfing is a parallel universe. You get into the sport and you understand a little more about the rules, both of the surfing universe and the rules of each beach, and understanding, but most important of all, respect. You're going to start surfing now. The most important thing of all is to start respecting those who already surf, those who have been there for longer, those who already live in that place. So this is a very important and fundamental tip, right? Certainly, if you have already taken a lesson with an instructor, a surf teacher, he will be guiding you and also telling you everything about these rules that exist in our surfing universe. If you want me to talk a little more about this subject too, leave it here in the comments so I know, because it's a subject that I see that few people talk about, and there is little content of this type here on YouTube.
Hello, I'm Petterson Thomaz, a professional surfer for over 15 years, currently working as a free surfer and content producer. And today I came here to talk about the surf school for beginners. That's correct. If you've attempted to learn to surf and didn't succeed because of fear, lack of instruction, or even courage, you're in the right place. The surf school for beginners is perfect for you. I will demonstrate that we have a solution for all of this. If you've never given it a try and want to start receiving the right instructions to surf and avoid hassle at sea, you're also in the right place, aren't you? The great thing is you can attend all classes entirely online, right? And applying the knowledge during the weekends or during breaks when you manage to go to the beach to really put into practice all the theory from the surf school for beginners. You'll learn which boards and beaches are ideal for your surfing level, especially if you're just beginning or about to start surfing. The exercises you need to learn out of the water so you can apply them in the water and make gradual progress. The rules, the surfing slang of this parallel universe of surfing. How to deal with locals when you get to the beach and also cope with the frustrations that many of you have likely also faced within this surfing world. As well as tips for staying upright and most importantly, right? Have fun and become part of this wonderful universe that is surfing. As I often say, surfing has power, and it truly does. It pulls people out of depression, gets people out of the house, lets them experience nature, helps control and alleviate anxiety, which is a very common issue nowadays. The Surf School for Beginners offers practical classes for those who want to start surfing or are at the beginning of their journey into the world of surfing. Everything was done with lots of care and detail, right? With knowledge that I've accumulated during my over 25 years of surfing, practically more than 15 years as a professional, right? To enroll in the Surf School for Beginners, just access the link in the description below and commence your progress. Thanks guys, see you in the water.